What is going on, everybody? Welcome in Seth Floyd Show. It's been a minute. It's been about 3 or 4 weeks probably. Had a lot of family stuff going on. Then we went on vacation for a little over a week. And man, it's the slow time of year, so I decided to take some time off. But we're back. Training camp is a little more than a week away, okay? And we're almost there. We've almost bridged the gap of the most terrible time of year where there's no football, there's no news, there's nothing. And we're almost there. Rookies report on July 15th, and we're going to crank out a video tonight, quick one, about some of the things to watch for in training camp. Real quick, guys, subscribe to the channel. You guys are awesome. 393 subscribers right now. Help me get to 500 as fast as we can. That'd be great. So tonight, I wanted to talk, what are the 3 storylines that I'm most excited for, that I'm looking forward to in training camp this offseason? What are the 3 hinge points on this team that I feel like are going to make or break the season, in whether it's going to be a successful season or if it's going to feel like last year? Now, let's talk real quick. What does a successful season look like for the 2025 San Francisco 49ers? Well, I think this year has to be different than what it's been. For the last 3 or 4 years, we have been in a Super Bowl or bust kind of mindset. And a lot of fans are still going to feel that way. Don't blame you if that's the case. You can't, old habits die hard. You can't change your mentality. I don't blame you. But after last season, I think that it's fair to kind of reassess where we're at. And I think that the 49ers going into this year, I think the Super Bowl window is open, but I don't think that we should be looked at as like the favorites, which I think that's what Vegas and the odds kind of reflect. But I think they're in a window. So to me, a successful 2025 season would just be make it to the playoffs, whatever that looks like. That would be huge. Given how much roster turnover happened this offseason, especially, I know most 49er fans feel like, look, none of it outside of the Dre Greenlaw departure was it that big of a deal, but still, roster turnover is a big deal, and you're relying on a lot of rookies this year. So make it to the playoffs. You make it to the playoffs, kind of shut everybody up. A lot of people think Niners are going to be bad. Make it to the playoffs, okay? Shouldn't be too hard, or shouldn't be impossible. I shouldn't say it shouldn't be too hard. It's the NFL. But with this schedule, you've reloaded. Assuming that you're going to get more luck on the injury side of things, you should make it to the playoffs. So these are the 3 things that have to go the 49ers' way to make it to the playoffs. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's how I feel. This is what I'm looking for in training camp, okay? Outside of the obvious, just like rookies. And we're going to talk about rookies, this first one. The number one thing I'm looking for, or watching, or trying to read each day from reporters is the defensive line, okay? The biggest problem with last season, to me, was the poor defensive line play. I've said this before. If you got just 25% better play on the defensive line and the offensive line, let's be honest, but mainly the defensive line, they played 25% better. If you could quantify that somehow and measure it, I think they would have been in it to make the playoffs in week 18. They lost those 3 stupid division games earlier in the year. The Rams game, the Cardinals game, and then the second Seahawks game, because defensively they couldn't get the stops when they needed it most because the defensive line play was not there. If you can't stop the run, you're going to have a long, long night. And that was the case. It was the worst run defensive 49ers team we've seen since 2018 probably. I don't know what the numbers say, but that's what it felt like. We haven't seen a run defense that bad in a long time. What is this defensive line going to look like, and what is it going to do? You need Mykel Williams to be a big piece, okay? It feels like he's going to play that Arik Armstead role, which is great. Obviously, the Arik Armstead departure was a big glaring hole last season, okay? You have Mykel Williams, who is going to play on that he's going to play that 3 technique, especially in passing downs. Ooh, doggy. Okay, you've got Nick Bosa. You're going to have Bryce Huff, who we've traded for. Great fit. I did a video on this. Great fit. He's not a good run stopper. That's fine. That's not why you traded for him. Okay, he is a pass down specialist, and he's really good. And now he gets to play opposite of Nick Bosa in those situations. And then you've got Mykel Williams at the 3 tech, and you're going to have, or the 1 tech, I guess. You're also going to have Yetur Gross-Matos, who is also a decent pass rusher from the inside. He's going to get some run on those third down passes, kind of that NASCAR package. But what does it look like? Is Mykel Williams as good as advertised? Is Alfred Collins, who hasn't signed yet, hasn't been on the field yet, is he going to be a run stuffer that they need him to be? Because that's who they drafted. They drafted a guy to be a run stuffer. He is that type of player. And then CJ West, who I think a lot of people are really excited about. Are these guys good enough to just be on the field consistently and not be a liability? Okay. Outside of Mykel Williams, okay, that's all you can hope for. For Alfred Collins and CJ West, you're just hoping, can I get like B-level players this year from them? What that means is you trust them in the game. It's not a, oh my gosh, here we go. So-and-so's in the game, like they're going to run it that way. It's just, okay, he's in the rotation. He plays at an average to an above, slightly above average level when we put him in there. Because to make the playoffs with this schedule, that's what you need. I don't have to have the 2019 defensive line that the 49ers had. You don't need that one with Armstead, Buckner, Bosa, and D Ford, though that would be amazing. Like, I just need better than last year. I just need guys that I can put in there and just trust them to play sound fundamental football, which is essentially maintain your gap integrity, okay? Don't get pushed around, fight off double teams, hold your ground, don't get shoved around, don't get undisciplined out of your gap, that type of stuff. Can they get that? Chris Kocurek, okay, he mentioned, there was an article that Dave Lombardi put out and quoted Chris Kocurek, and he mentioned Kevin Givens and how he's really relying on Nick Bosa and Kevin Givens to really solidify things. If we can get really good production out of Kevin Givens, that would be great because it takes pressure off of Alfred Collins, CJ West, that whole deal. To make the playoffs, though, I don't need all pros all across the defensive line. I need better than last year. I just need a bunch of B-level players that I don't think are a liability when they're out there. Now, they might not be, they definitely won't always be a B-level player from the beginning, especially early on. The rookies, they're going to have their rookie moments, the welcome to the NFL kind of moments. They're going to take their lumps. But by midpoint of the season, do we just have like, oh man, are we going to look at Mykel Williams, Alfred Collins, and CJ West as just like, okay, these guys are just like staples. They're good. Hopefully they're great. Hopefully we're talking about Mykel Williams like, dude, this is a beast for a long, long time. Okay? I don't know if we will. Can I at least get it? Like, man, he's just a good football player. Alfred Collins, man, I love it. Rundowns, that dude is taking up space. Love it. CJ West, heavy hands, active with his hands. I love watching that dude play. Like, can we just get some guys that we feel excited about? Or are we going to get halfway through the season and it's like, man, I haven't seen Alfred Collins on the field in a long time. Every time CJ West is in there, it feels like they gash us for 10 yards. Like, we need to avoid that. So number one, how does that defensive line look? There's plenty of guys on the defensive line I didn't even mention, Evan Anderson and whoever else you want to talk about. But I'm really looking at these rookies because we need those rookies. If those guys aren't playing well, like, we're going to see more of last year. My number two headline, okay, is the wide receiver room. What does this wide receiver room look like? It feels like there's a lot of things up in the air. And I don't think the coaching staff thinks these things are up in the air. I think they know exactly what they're going to do with this wide receiver group. But us fans, we don't know. We won't know until we see it in training camp and in preseason and things like that. But the wild card here is Brandon Ayuk, okay? It sounds like he's going to be out to start, which 5 months ago I was like, yeah, 100% he's out. And then there's a lot of reports like, man, I could see him play week 1. He looks pretty good. His rehab looks great. Maybe there's a chance he could. My official guess is starts in the pup, misses the first 4 weeks. So what does that first 4 weeks look like? Okay, what is the how do you go about this wide receiver room? Can Jennings maintain it? He should. He played really well with Ayuk out last year. I'm not worried about Jennings. My thoughts are Ricky Pearsall. Can he take the next step? Okay, he looked real good at the end of the season, which he should have. I'm not surprised he didn't really start coming along to the end of the season because, I don't know, homeboy had a bullet hole in his chest, okay, during training camp. It was a miracle he even stepped on a football field last year, and you could see it coming along at the end of the year. Can he pick up on that? Can he just be a possession guy that's just like always open, a high volume guy, even if he's, I know actually he had that play against Tampa Bay. His touchdown was incredible. I don't know if I expect a ton of that from Ricky Pearsall. Can I just get a guy that like I know going into each week he's going to be 8 to 10 catches and maybe 100 yards, that's fine, but like he's just open when you need him. I need a guy who's frequently open, because that was our biggest Achilles heel last year until he started to come along. Is we just had guys who couldn't beat man coverage. This is why Debo's gone. Like, you guys have seen all the film. We've seen the tapes. Debo could not get open. He couldn't get any separation. So can I get a guy a lot of separation? And then the biggest ones, Jacob Cowing and Jordan Watkins. Like, what is going to happen with that? All the reports are Jacob Cowing might have had the best offseason of anybody on the team. That's like pretty high praise. That was from like Tim Kawakami, Matt Barrows. People just saying like inside the building. These aren't people talking like in interviews and like coach speak. This is like in the building. They're just talking to people that are around the organization. And a pretty frequent talking point was, man, Jacob Cowing had a great year, great offseason. Can he take the next step? I hope so, because I think he does a lot of things that this offense needs. He can do a lot of the things that Debo did, just like in a different way. He's not as physical as Debo would be. Debo was basically a running back. Jacob Cowing, though, is electric. He's electric. Is Shanahan actually going to give him chances? Who knows? Who knows? Can he block? The answer to that will be answered with, can he block? Because if he can't block, he's not going to be on the field. Maybe he's a punt returner. Jordan Watkins, people are pretty high on. He had a really good minicamp because you had guys out. No Ayuk. Jennings took a lot of time off. Pearsall had a hamstring injury. So Jordan Watkins got a lot of time on the field in front of the coaches, and people were excited about him. Okay, he said he looks like a more polished receiver than they thought, not just like a straight go ball guy, which is who I thought we drafted. But they say he runs these deep crossing routes well. I'm excited to see what happens. But one of those guys is got to step up. I know we have Demarcus Robinson. He's probably going to be suspended for the first 3 games, whatever. So I'm just thinking that first quarter of the season or whatever, what does it look like? Okay, I think Jennings is a dog. I think Pearsall doesn't have to be the one, which is where he's going to thrive and he's going to be open. I love that. We still have Kittle. Okay, as long as Kittle's healthy, Brock and Kittle have a good thing going. And then CMC, our boy, as long as he's back, as long as he's healthy and on the field, he creates more of those mismatches that creates problems. So I'm excited to see, I'm more excited to see how the wide receiver room plays out, because I think you're going to see Cowing or Watkins really step up, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun time. As long as guys are healthy, we should be good. We'll see what Ayuk is even when he gets back. But Jennings, Pearsall, it's hard to put a ton of faith in Cowing or Watkins, but I'll just say when I think of the offensive weapons to the first 4 games of the season, I'm thinking Jennings, Pearsall, Kittle, and CMC. Like, I can work with that for sure. And then give me a little bit from Cowing, give me a little bit from Watkins. Like, we're rocking and rolling. I'm excited. Good. And my last one. It came down to 2 spots, but I'm going to talk about the offensive line. Number 3 is the offensive line. Now, my other one was safeties. Because, man, what do we do? Jair Brown's going to be... Jair Brown might be back, I think, basically at the beginning of training camp, but he wasn't very good last year. And then Malik Mustafa, who knows? People sleeping on Jason Pinnock, like a lot of people are high on him, but we'll see. But I want to talk about the offensive line. I'm actually much higher on the offensive line than most people. Okay, PFF just came out with a list today, and they had the 49ers ranked at 12th, their offensive line, as the 12th best offensive line, which I think for 49er fans, most of you would be shocked by that, because we talk about the offensive line like it's a bottom 5, bottom 3 offensive line, which is not true. That's not true, okay? 12 felt a little high for me. I feel like they're right in the middle of the pack. I feel like, 16 would have been about right. But 12, and their PFF does this. They're going off grades. They're not just doing like eyeball test stuff. They mentioned Trent Williams. Okay, another year older, okay, was banged up last year, but Trent, when he is healthy, is a top 5 to 10 tackle. I mean, if he's healthy, he's like a top 3 tackle. If he's like playing at 90%, 85%, he's still like a top 10 tackle, maybe a top 5 tackle in the league. It's very good for your offensive line. So the unit as a whole hinges on how does Trent do. Because if you don't have Trent in there and you're starting Spencer Burford at left tackle, like, that goes from 12 to you're probably 25, somewhere in there. Okay, like Trent is that big of a deal. But can he stay healthy? 2023, he was healthy. Last year, wasn't healthy, though, as I'm on record of saying, if they'd been in the playoff hunt, my money is on Trent plays. But what was the point? Get him healthy. So he had a lot of time off. He should feel healthy. People are talking about how slim he looks, which is a big deal for an offensive lineman. Can Trent stay healthy? Another part they mentioned is how good Dominic Puni was. He was the 6th ranked guard in the NFL last year based off of them. Oh, I just kicked the stand, sorry. That is not 6th ranked rookie guard. It was the 6th ranked guard in the NFL total. Okay, fantastic. And he was a rookie. Going into a sophomore season, can he build on that? Because if he can, this line is going to look even better. Now, the biggest talking point is Jake Brendel. Okay, some of you are just mean people. Okay, a lot of people have said some terrible things about Jake Brendel, who I think is a good guy. Just had a son. That alone might make him play better. For those of you who remember what it was like going to work after you had your first kid, I know for me it was different. I viewed work different. I viewed my life different. And maybe that'll help Jake Brendel. The other thing is John Feliciano, who retired on Twitter this offseason, a month ago or so, people were kind of crapping on Jake Brendel. And he was like, Brendel was hurt. Brendel was fighting through injury the whole season. Watch what he does this year. Because if you get 2023 Jake Brendel, who, again, he wasn't the best center in the league, but he's better than last year, we're going to be rocking and rolling. Okay, so I'm holding out hope that he really was injured and that he's going to elevate his play. And yeah, that's what it hinges on. Now, if Trent can't stay healthy, then it's going to be a wash and it's going to be a long year on the offense. But if Trent stays healthy, things are going to be moving. Okay, I think Kyle Shanahan is going to come out with a vengeance. I think that his play calling, for a number of reasons last year, it got stale and predictable. Some of that might be because Trent was out and you guys had a lot of guys hurt throughout the season. No CMC really limits you and shrinks your playbook. And I think the rest of the league had caught up to him a little bit. That doesn't mean they figured him out completely, but I think last year they had picked up on some tendencies. And I think Kyle Shanahan, I would imagine, spent this offseason grinding tape and figuring out what his tendencies were and just coming back with a vengeance on how to set the league on fire. So the deal too is with the offensive line is you can scheme around weaknesses. As long as you have average to above average, competent play, you can scheme around weaknesses, even if Jake Brendel isn't the best, or if we're going to roll with Ben Bartch, who I'm kind of excited to watch at left guard. Colt McKivitz, he is just average at best, but man, you can scheme around some of the things he doesn't do well. And Kyle Shanahan's as good as anyone with that. So my three things for this training camp as it kicks off next week. You've got the defensive line, specifically how do those rookies look? Michael Williams, Alfred Collins, and CJ West. Can they just be staple players? Number 2 is the wide receiver group. I'm excited to watch because I think they have a plan, but who knows how it'll all play out. And we won't know, but I think the coaching staff has a good plan of what to do with these guys, and I can't wait to see what it is. It's just the wild card is Brandon Ayuk. And then lastly, that offensive line. Can they stay healthy? Okay, can they still stay healthy? And Jake Brendel, can you elevate your play? Dominic Puni, can you take another step and become an all-pro this year? Because you were the 6th ranked guard. Man, I'm having trouble saying that. 6th ranked guard in the NFL last year per PFF. So awesome stuff, guys. We're so close. We're right there. Hit subscribe if you haven't already. We're a week away from rookies reporting, and then a week after that, the vets report. And man, it's here. It's here. Get through July. We hit August. There's football this month. July 31st. Is it Bears, Chargers? First preseason game, Hall of Fame game? I think that's what it is. Anyway, let's go. So excited. And that's all I got for you. Go Niners.